Welcome to the Mount Pleasant podcast, featuring discussions and interviews about the people, places, and events that make Mount Pleasant such a special place.
This is the Mount Pleasant podcast. I'm your host, Brian Cleary, and all thanks to the great people of Mount Pleasant Magazine, I get the honor, the privilege of introducing you to Mount Pleasant, the people who make it such a special place to do business, to work, and even to live. We're introducing you to Mount Pleasant's best on the Mount Pleasant podcast. When you hear the word logistics, what do you think? Maybe your eyes glaze over a little bit, but logistics are important. And so today on our Mount Pleasant podcast, we're going to introduce you to a low-country individual who not only knows logistics, but is an expert. And he is Dave Woodson. Dave is the owner, the founder of Flyway Logistics. Let's start here, Dave. Let's just start Flyway Logistics. How would you describe that to someone who doesn't know what your company is about?
Of course, great question. We are a third-party logistics service specifically built to support interior designers here in the Charleston area with projects all over the East Coast to South Carolina. We travel up to Myrtle Beach and down to Hilton Head, handling anything from receiving inventory at either of our facilities here in the Charleston area to getting it loaded on a truck, delivered and installed at clients on all up and down the coast here, projects of all sizes, just really being the logistics arm to some really cool interior design businesses here in the Charleston area.
So Flyway Logistics, how long have you been in business?
We've been in business about 2.5 years.
And what was it that motivated you that said, you know what? I see a need here. I'm going to start this company. How did that come about?
Yeah, of course. I mean, I spent my career before starting this business. I spent it in supply chain and logistics, and it's always been something that I enjoyed trying to solve for. And I started talking to a lot of designers here in the area after I had moved here about 4 or 5 years ago, and this was a gap that needed to be filled. It's a big headache for designers to have to deal with a lot of the heavy lifting that comes with the furniture that they're buying. They're buying up sofas, tables, cabinets, things that weigh 300-400 pounds. They need a place to ship it to. They need a place to store it for a period of time until their client's home's getting finished up. And they need somebody, a team of guys that could easily handle that piece and get it up inside their client's home without doing any damage and getting it done professionally. So that's where we kind of come in. And I've built this service around what their needs are to help solve their problems and help them grow their business, and doing it at a price point that they can afford.
So you said a lot right there, because obviously when someone forms a business, they do it for a specific set of customers. So just so we're all on the same page here, this isn't where, hey, I call you up and I've got a couch and some things that I need to store somewhere. This is, you are specifically targeting and talking with designers.
Correct. Yeah. Our core business and customer base are interior designers that have businesses and clients in this particular area. And so they go in and they're the creative arm, obviously, to the operation, and then they hand off the dirty work to us and we get it done.
As you talk about it, that seems obviously that there would be a need for this, but I'm wondering, how was it that you discovered that designers had a need that wasn't being fulfilled? Honestly,
just from talking to them, understanding what their problems are. A lot of them were using self-storage units, and they're meeting these 54-foot trucks, unloading furniture and moving it into these storage units. And a lot of interior designers, they don't enjoy spending their time meeting truck drivers, trying to figure out how to get this piece into a storage unit. Because a lot of times you can't ship it directly to the client's home. There's a renovation going on. It's not even built yet, or it's just nearing getting finished. So yeah, it's really going around town, understanding what some of the problems these designers were having and building the business around it. It just kind of came from that, having some really like fun conversations and understanding how I can help them grow their business.
So Dave, the name of your company, Flyway Logistics, where did that come from? What made you decide this is the name?
Great question. Not a lot of people ask me that. It is, I actually named it. I started this business living on Seabrook. A lot of the business had started on Johns Island, and we did a lot of work on Kiowa. Now, there is a road on Kiowa called Flyway Drive, and I was going up and down this road. I mean, I started this business with a pickup truck about 2.5 years ago. It was by myself and anybody I could find to lift the other end of a sofa. I was doing it in between meetings, and I'm going back and forth all over Kiowa to make it happen. And so I found myself on this going up and down Flyway Drive, and I just like this. I like the ring of it. There's nothing more to it than that. I thought it was a cool name. I thought it could resonate with our customer base that was predominantly on Kiowa at the time, and really still is. We do a ton of work there. And so it stuck with me, and I kind of built it around the whole name and concept. And we've got that whole, that's kind of how what we've built into our whole scheme here.
Well, let's be honest for a second. Do anybody ever get anybody calling you up going, hey, I got to book a flight to Florida. Can you help me out?
You know what? I have had some people call and ask, are we like an air transportation service? Or we have anything to do with planes, given the name? And you just kind of laugh and kindly help them understand what exactly we're doing and kind of where the name came from. But yeah, no, we have nothing to do with air transportation or flights of any sort.
This is where the pages of Mount Pleasant Magazine come alive. Thanks for joining me today. I'm Brian Cleary here on the Mount Pleasant Podcast, joined by Dave Woodson. Dave's the owner, the founder of Flyway Logistics. Now, Dave, as part of our podcast, what we try to do is introduce people to the businesses and the events and also the people who make Mount Pleasant special. Let's find out a little bit about yourself. You're originally from where?
I'm from right outside Philadelphia in a small town called Lidditz, Pennsylvania, about an hour and a half west of Philly.
Lidditz, Pennsylvania, kind of Amish country. Being from Pennsylvania myself,
Bingo.
I'm actually aware of Lidditz.
Yep. Yeah, Amish country, right in the heart of it. Yeah, I'm a rural guy. That's just kind of my nature. But you know what? I couldn't do the winters, and it was time to make a move. My fiance and I decided it was best for us to come to Charleston. I was introduced to Charleston as a young kid and have been coming down here ever since, and has dreamt of living here, let alone starting a business to help support the community here as well. It's been just an absolute dream come true for us.
So escaping the winters of Pennsylvania, does that make you more of a beach guy? Would I be seeing you on the beach on the weekends?
Yep. I mean, that's a large reason why we live down on Seabrook, is to stay as close to the beach as possible. I'm definitely a beach bum. I love hanging out. I like the slow beach vibes, I mean, there's just nothing beats it. I always enjoyed going to the South Jersey shore when I lived in Pennsylvania, and I just wanted to figure out how I could make this my full-time situation somewhere where I can make it work all year round. In Charleston.
So a lot of times here on the podcast, we'll try to stake people out in their positions. Maybe you don't have a dog in the fight, because I always ask, Carolina or Clemson, where do you stand? But being from Pennsylvania,
yeah, I don't have a dog in this fight. I went to West Virginia University, and I've got a bunch of friends at Penn State. I stay north of the Mason-Dixon when it comes to my my college fandom. So yeah, I don't have a dog in that fight.
How was it that you ended up at wild and wonderful West Virginia there in Morgantown?
I really enjoyed the culture there. They had a great program for what I was going to go to school for there, and did. And I really enjoyed it. I went there. I had a great visit, and you know what? There's a lot of fun to be had there as well. So I think all things considered, it was kind of a well-rounded choice for me. And I really enjoyed my time there in Morgantown. It's a beautiful state. It gets a bad rap, but West Virginia is one of the most beautiful states, and I stand by that.
When I started our conversation, I mentioned the word logistics and saying about how that would make some people glaze over. There really is a special skill set, though. When somebody asks you, maybe they have, maybe they haven't, but logistics is a word. How do you describe what logistics is?
It's a very generic word, and there's a lot to it, right? I mean, I think it's more focused around the warehousing, storage, and transportation piece, and really just kind of taking a lot of that. Growing up, kind of as I graduated college and entered my my full-time career, kind of centered more around supply chain, where you're moving freight. It's the movement of goods from point A to point B. And that essentially is what logistics is. But there's a lot of nuances to that. And there's a lot of things that can go wrong in that process. And that's where our attention to detail really comes in. And how I define logistics is really just that. And basically, it's taking that warehousing component and understanding how we can move these goods as efficiently and as cost effectively as possible from point A to point B. There's a lot of touch points. There's a lot of there's a lot of hands in the pot, so to speak, and you really need to make sure that you're running a smooth, on-time business in order to operate efficiently and run a business that people want to be a part of. And so I've taken that logistics term and I've really tried to dial it in a little bit and focus on putting together a service that I think is really going to help a lot of the designers here in the area grow their business.
So when you talk about designers, at least my first instinct is designers are creative people. And for the most part, creative people, like you said, they don't want to talk to the guy at the trucking company, whatever.
Bingo.
They want to do the designs and stuff. So you step in. So a designer is watching, listening to our podcast. What's the first step they need to take if they think, Flyway Logistics, this might be able to help me out? What's the first step that they take in terms of getting involved with you?
Absolutely. They can check us out online, bookflyway.com. That's BOOKFLYWAY. Check us out online. You can give us a call. We can drop all of that information in the bio here, link below the video. But yeah, reach out, give us a call. You can email us, bookflyway@gmail.com. Visit us online. Any channel you can call, text us any questions you have. I would love to sit down and understand what challenges some of these designers are having and how we can continue to build our business to support theirs and help them grow, because that's in a nutshell what we've set out to do. And I think we can absolutely help out a lot of the designers around here and helping to really reduce their costs, give them multiple warehouse options. We've got a few in the Charleston area. Plenty of space. We're growing. I've got a team of great guys that can make your install day go off without a hitch. We consider these install days our Super Bowl, and we want to make the designers look as good as possible. We are a complement to their business, and I can assure you that we're going to show up on time and be courteous, professional, and get things done the right way, high quality level of service for sure.
Dave Woodson is our guest today here on the Mount Pleasant podcast with me, Brian Cleary. This is where the pages of Mount Pleasant magazine come alive. He's the owner, the founder of Flyway Logistics. It's a company that's helping designers here in the Lowcountry. Now, Dave, you mentioned the fact that when you started 2.5, a little more years ago than that, it was just you. You talk about your people now. How big has your company grown to?
Yeah, so I'm up to 4 employees now, which 2.5 years ago, being just me, that's huge for me. That's something that I'm very proud of, and we're going to continue to grow the business. I'm hiring. We're looking for more help. The phone doesn't stop ringing, and I'd like to keep it that way. That's probably the biggest accomplishment is putting together and finding work and creating jobs in Charleston and helping this community. I want to continue to do that and give others an opportunity to kind of join this business. We're small but mighty, and I'm really excited to continue to hire and look to find more help in the Charleston area.
On one hand, and of course, not being an expert in the area, I would think designers, well, how many designers can there be? Now, you're in a pretty wide area as well, but it seems to me in our conversation that there must be a lot of designers out there. There's a lot of construction and things going on. So you're filling, is it a growing need? Is it expanding?
Absolutely. I mean, you've seen the boom in the Charleston area as far as, I mean, there has been an insane amount of people moving here.
Right.
There's a lot of homes going up, a ton of development. There's a lot. And it's not going to stop. I mean, the amount of growth in this area it's exploding. We've got warehouses right in the heart of where both of that is really excelling. And that need is only going to get greater. The storage space when it comes to this is at a high demand, and we're here to help fill that need. These homes they're not going to slow down. They continue to go up, and these designers are continuing to stay very busy. It's a pretty large market of designers in this area. It's a hotbed. There's thousands of them, and a lot of them don't want to deal with this. So I'm happy to kind of help in and introduce myself and see if we can do something to help drive their business.
You mentioned earlier some of the challenges that designers themselves have and where your company has stepped up, and now Flyway Logistics takes care of those things. What about for Flyway Logistics itself? What are your biggest challenges right now?
Finding as much space as we need to keep things keep things going. Storage space, like I said, it's high demand. It's hard to finding good, well located storage space. I mean, I really intentionally found the warehouses that we have right now relative to where our demand is and where our clients have projects. I want to be in the heart of what they're working on, so we can help easily manage their inventory and get on site to help them and support that business as needed. The biggest challenge for me is just continuing to find the space to help keep up with the demand. But we put ourselves in a pretty good position here. I'm really excited about what the future holds.
So for someone like me, I rent an apartment. Finding storage space, particularly at a reasonable price, is a challenge. I guess what you're saying as well, for individuals who have that challenge, businesses here in the Low Country are finding the same sort of tough to find space.
Yeah, I mean, I think in this particular niche that we found, it's hard. Now there's self-storage facilities going up left and right. I mean, I drive down the street. There's a new self-storage place going up left and right. Why we're different is that I've got somebody here to meet all of these trucks and to manage all of that, the movement of goods. So you don't need to waste your time going to the storage unit and meet anybody. I mean, we're saving hours in the day for designers to just clear out their calendar and focus on what they're good at, the creative aspect. And then we deal with they ship everything to us. And so they don't even need to deal with it. But that type of service is hard to find around here. There's not a ton of competition. I mean, there's a few in the area, but we certainly do it best. We've got the most amount of experience. And I know if I'm a designer looking for storage space, this is something that I would definitely be interested in learning a little bit more about, right? Because you don't want to continue dealing with these truck drivers or, the brutal part about this logistics industry is nobody shows up on time. Nobody tells you they're going to be late. They don't tell you when they're early. Everything is, you're just kind of flying blind. That's where we're different. And exactly, as soon as your shipment arrives at our facility, you're going to know it. You're going to know if it's in good condition or if it's damaged. We are highly responsive, highly communicative. That is our bread and butter. Just our attention to detail and being very responsive and doing a great job, I think, is 1, 2, 3, where my focus is at, and just being consistent with that. So that's kind of a long-winded answer to your question, but I think we got there.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And our designers, so obviously designers are reaching out to you. You're seeing a lot of repeat business, I guess, because you're dealing, I guess, from time to time, hey, somebody's designing something in North Charleston. Now they're designing something in Somerville, and you're helping out all those areas. So is repeat business one of the things that's driving your growth?
It's a core component to our growth. Yeah, we want to excel with all of our clients. We want to make sure that they come back and they're having a great experience and they love our service. I mean, it's very, very important to me that all of our clients, their needs are met and that they want to come back and continue to use us on future projects. But hey, listen, there's no commitment with us. I'm not going to lock you into a contract or make somebody do business with us when they don't need to. I'm very flexible that way. We offer flat rate monthly pricing plans that are very, very affordable depending on whatever project that you have coming up. And, I think it's working. It seems like the designers really like our flat rate pricing model. There's not a lot of variability to it. They can plan against it, and it helps them grow their business when they can control some of their costs more so than they can with some of our competitors. And we're in every spot that they have projects, I'm trying to bring it all together so we can continue to put together a service that's going to meet all of their needs.
And at the end of the day, I think the two things that really make me think, well, Flyway Logistics is the way to go. One, you're local, you're here. And 2, small, so you're swift and you can be personable rather than working with, a big national company that may not have that hands-on touch.
Absolutely. I mean, at the end of the day, we're a small family-owned business. You're gonna interact directly with me, the owner. We can pivot and make decisions on the fly relative to what you need from us. And I'm willing to work and kind of mold my business or kind of grow it in a way that's going to continue to support some of the nuances that these designers face with their own projects. And so, yeah, small, local, we love Charleston. That's at its core. building a business in Charleston and growing this community and supporting everybody within it, creating jobs, supporting other businesses. That's what we're all about. That's what I'm going to continue to invest in and what I'm really, really excited about here down the road.
And so to wrap up, Dave, your goal for Flyway Logistics, obviously growth. You've increased so much in the 2.5 year period that you've been open. What do you see for, say, the next 2.5 years to take you to that 5-year mark?
Yeah, I mean, I want to double in size. I mean, at a minimum, we just continue to show designers what we have, what we can do to help support them, and I think the rest will speak for itself. Give us a try. Like I said, there's no commitment. We start with a small project, and we build trust and confidence from that point. I want designers to see and experience our service. And the business will grow with it. Once they see that we walk the walk and we don't just talk the talk, I mean, we make it happen. I mean, I'm not going to blow smoke up your ass. Excuse my French there. I mean, we get the job done, and I'm a man of my word. So I think if we just continue to focus on what's in front of us and serve our current clients with a high quality level of service and continue to do what we're doing, the business will grow around it. And I think over the next 2.5 years to get to that 5-year mark, we could easily double, if not triple in size. And at the end of the day, that doesn't really matter. I mean, that's great. I would love to double or triple in size, but what matters is our clients and what they're working on right now and helping them grow their business. Our business will grow. I don't care if it grows 10% or 100% year over year. I'm focused on these designers and helping them make their dreams come true and making their clients really happy with really professional services and getting these homes put together and doing it the right way.
The Lowcountry continues to grow. Construction, rooms, remodeling, all that, and designers are in business right now. But if you're a designer and you need some assistance, now you know where to turn. Dave, congratulations, first of all, on your growth. Thanks for joining us here on the Mount Pleasant podcast, and much more success for Flyway Logistics.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate your time. Thanks for giving me the opportunity to come on and chat with you for a little bit.
Check it out, Flyway Logistics, and Dave Woodson, the owner, founder, and our guest today here on the Mount Pleasant podcast. I'm Brian Cleary. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for spending your time with the Mount Pleasant podcast, your community, your podcast. Listen to past and future episodes at mountpleasantpodcast.com.